in from. Here we go. Where you are coming in from and who invited you. You are joining us here tonight for the Secure Your Bag conversation. I know that a lot of us already know what that term means, but it really means to make sure that you are secured financially, for you to get on the path where you're not worried. Director Scott says something today in our commercial that I have to admit I'm stuck on it. He said, do you have 2030 money? So if you do not have 2030 money, you are in the right place. If you have 2030 money, you are still in the right place. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. As you are coming in, please let us know where you are coming in from and who invited you. We are so appreciative of you taking your time. I know a lot of you are on the East Coast, so it is 10 o'clock your time. But you know, it is never too late to make a decision that I need to secure my bag. I need to take care of myself. I'm a self-care coach, and one of the pillars is financial self-care. And a lot of times that is the pillar where we are struggling, but it's also the one where we say, it's okay. I can do with it. I have a good government job. I have a good career. I have a this, I have a that. But we're struggling. So as you're coming in, welcome again, welcome again. Let us know where you are coming in from. Let us know where you are coming in from. Also, if you can let us know who invited you as well, or who gave you the passcode. This evening, there are some brilliant, amazing ladies. To be honest with you, to be very honest with you, I like to be what I call hot, honest, open, and transparent. I am so honored for our guest this evening. Just extremely honored for our guest, because the people that you are being blessed to hear from tonight they have a story, they have a journey, but in that journey, they've gone from knowing I need to change some things to having the guts, the tenacity, the boldness, the strength, making the decisive decision to say, I'm going to change some things. And they've done it at a high level. So just the fact that they have taken time out of their evening tonight to be with us, to be in this conversation, I am just honored. I am just honored. So it is 7:04. So we are going to actually go ahead and get started tonight. We're going to respect your time. We are going to only be on here until for an hour and 15 minutes. That includes question time. And then we're going to go so that you all can make a decision. So again, my name is Carmela Rochelle, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I am the owner of the Arise Powerhouse. And I also have the privilege and honor to be one of the people who Director Scott is coaching. And I am just honored. I am just honored. So let's have Tisha DeShields. Let's have you introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, and give us a little bit of information about yourself.
All right. All right. Well, great evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Miss Rochelle, for allowing me to be on this panel tonight with these esteemed panelists. I am Tish DeShields. I'm originally from a small town in a small state, Seaford, Delaware, but I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, where we launched this business. So I'm a mom. I'm not any different than anyone else on the line, but I'm busy, right? So if you're busy on the line, you need to go ahead and put some fire in the chat, because this business that we're going to go over today is for the busy person. But I'm a mom. I've got 5 children, 4 biological children, 1 bonus daughter, and all my kids play sports, every last single one of them. And when I tell you I have been going city to city, state to state, and country to country with those kids, and I've been booking that travel in the past, and I was booking it and I was on the wrong side of the industry. So if you have been booking your travel yourself, you have been on the wrong side of the industry. But how many of you know when you know better, you do better? So when I knew better, I started my business where I became a merchant, and I was able to book that travel for myself. And now the rest is history, and I'm on a path to teach other people to position themselves from the consumer side of the industry to the merchant side. So that's a little bit about me. I'm just an average person that found an amazing business, and we're out here educating and empowering other people and showing them the way. Back to you, Miss Rochelle.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Tish. So much appreciate you. Amanda, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are and what you do and all of that.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Amanda Kidd. I am a mom, a wife, business owner, nonprofit founder. And, I found myself, going through life, facing many challenges, family members getting sick left and right, having to be there, at home with my kids and never really being able to, get into a groove of working in the workplace. So I've always needed to have what they called a side hustle or, getting that extra stream of income. And so I am here to just, really shed light on how, our everyday moms, those that are, have kids that are, stair steps like mine. Mine's came back to back. They didn't stop. And so now I'm able to, leverage, this industry and, begin to build our, our like Director Scott said, our 2030, money, be able to build that. And so I'm looking forward to being here with everyone tonight.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I like how you were talking about first of all, I like how Tish talked about this is for the busy person, because we can all say, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. But we better watch when we're too busy to be able to change some things. Amanda, I like how you said that you are just a mom. You have the kids. You have all these things that we all have, but you made a decision. Tiffany, Miss Tiffany Powell, come off of mute, please, and introduce yourself.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you for having me on this, Rochelle. I really appreciate it. And to your coach and your mentor, Mr. Gregory Scott, who's a very, very good friend of mine. We're like brothers and sisters. I just appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to be on this platform and share with the people around the planet. I am Tiffany Powell. I am a mother of 5 sons. I took in my niece when my sister got incarcerated. She's a mother now. I took in let me just say, my husband decided that it was led on his heart to take in 3 of our godsons, and we took them in and we took care of them. So I'm one of those mothers that's busy, but not never not wanted to provide and leave a legacy for our family. I am a wife for 30 years to Mr. Walter Charles Powell IV. We owned our own real estate company in Atlanta, Georgia. We hail from New Orleans, Louisiana, and we actually took $1,700, 2 little boys at the time, and we moved to Atlanta with no jobs, no place to stay, but just a dream and a belief that what we put our mind to that we can do. And we made a decision to come in alignment and an agreement together. And we were very successful in real estate. But when that real estate market crashed, we didn't have a second income. We didn't have another source. So little and behold, Mr. White introduced this business to us. And we took this little thing that people normally would say, hey, yo, that travel business, taking it lightly. Well, this little travel business restored everything we lost in the estate recession. So that's our story, and that's what I'm sticking with. I love what I'm doing. I love where I'm at. I always tell people that it's the mindset. It's not your circumstances that get you to the next level.
Whew, I love that. I love that. I love that. A lot of people want to say, well, I have all these things. I have all of this. I have all of that. And you took on a lot of added responsibility, yet decided I need more and I'm going after more. So I don't have a hat on, but if I did, Tiffany, I'd take it off to you. That's amazing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Scott,
Yes,
my
ma'am.
coach. Introduce yourself, please, sir.
All right. Well, I'm Gregory Scott, originally from Washington, D.C. And I did the noble thing. I did what my parents told me to do. They told me to go to school, get a good education, get a good, safe, and secure job.
Mm,
Well, I found myself with a good, safe, and secure job in public service, And so that was where I hung my hat professionally. I worked in law enforcement for 33 years. 33 years. And the way that that broke down for me, 10 years as a police officer for the citizens of the great city of Durham, North Carolina. That was the proving ground for me professionally. That was where I literally cut my teeth, so to speak, right? Learned how to be a public servant, learned how to police uh, cities and so forth. And so I did that for 10 years. And then I made a transition, a huge transition into federal law enforcement, where I worked for the Drug Enforcement Administration. Now, I did that for the remaining 23 years of my career. And so for me, law enforcement is a noble career. I remember back in the day being in grade school and, the police officers would come and bring their canines into the school. And I said, man, and we used to call them officer friendly, right? And I said, I want to be one of those officer friendly guys, right? And so that's what I strive to do. But not just wear the uniform and have the authority, but have the ability, and this is important, to impact lives. And so for those 33 years, that's what I did every single day. I made some sacrifices. I impacted folks' lives. Some people needed a vacation, Tiff. And so I helped them with that early, right? But the reality is, what I looked at every single day, every single month, every single year was something that I call the revolving door, Ms. Rochelle. That revolving door was colleagues of mine that would retire after serving nobly, and then they would return right back into the workforce.
mm,
Right back into the building in law enforcement in some capacity as a civilian. And the more I saw it, the more sick to my stomach I got. The more I saw it, the more I said to myself, I am not going to be them.
mm,
I've got to do something different. I've got to do something significant. I've got to separate myself from what was becoming the norm in that culture. And I didn't want any parts of it. And so long before I retired, I was looking for something. And needless to say, I found it in the industry of direct sales and in travel. And that became my game changer. And it has caused me not just to get some sometime money, but to be able to create long-term, sustainable, residual income that will outlast me
mm.
uh, and will be passed on to my children and my children's 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 children because of the sacrifice and the commitment that I have to the company that we all represent, uh, and also giving us an opportunity, all of us in our own right, being leaders, to be able to do the same thing to impact other folks' lives as well. Ms. Rochelle.
Wow, thank you, thank you, thank you. We all have a different story and a different journey, but in a way, it is the same journey. My journey is a little different from you all's. But it's the same journey. Went to school, got my master's to be a therapist, had my own business, became a psychology professor, did that for years, was married, was a supervisor at a mental health clinic, was a consultant for group homes. I mean, I was up and down the freeway, was teaching classes at Fresno Pacific, was teaching classes in Lemoore, West Hills. I was all over the place. And I remember one day at the clinic where I was a mental health supervisor, I was walking and I felt kind of funny. I've been having headaches, but I felt a little funny. And next thing I knew, I was waking up and there were paramedics all around me and they had put something in my mouth and I had a lump on my head. I had passed out and had a seizure. So, whoa, okay, all right, okay. So I went to the hospital and all of that. And then I went back to work, but I couldn't go back there. See, this is what I need all of you to take a look at. I had helped, I was with the company from the start, had built it up with the owner. But when I had that seizure there, they said, you can't come back here till the doctor clears you. Well, guess what the doctor said? I'm not clearing you. You're having seizures. Okay. But I had to secure the bag for my family. So what did I do? Remember, I was the consultant. I taught at 2 different colleges. I kept doing that. Found myself on the side of the road one day, ended up in an ambulance, took the IV out of my arm and said, I got to go to work. I got to make it happen. Till it was all taken away. Because I wasn't taking care of me. So that's why I teach self-care, because see, we can take care of everything and everybody else. But if you're not taking care of you, you have a problem. And it's only a matter before that house you're building starts falling. And one of the pillars of self-care is financial self-care. See, a lot of times we're so dependent on the good job. We're dependent on the business. I was dependent on the business. I had Carmela Rochelle Consulting. I was doing the thing. Had school district calling me and all of that. However, they stopped calling when I didn't take care of me. And one of the things I didn't know is about residual income. It was all about me and the hour or the salary. But how many of us know on here, let's be honest with ourselves, that salary can stop when they say, don't come back here until you get a doctor's clearance. Ouch. That hourly can stop, but that residual, if I had known about it, even when I was in the hospital bed, I'd have still had a check coming. So that's why we're here. That's why this conversation is so important. And it's so pivotal to changing your life. So the first thing I want you all to think about is, what would happen if my job told me I can't come back here? What would happen if my hourly or my salary stopped? What would happen to me? What do I do now? So I've just told why I feel this conversation is important. Amanda, can you tell us a little bit about, take a couple of seconds to tell us why you feel this conversation is important?
Yeah, so just like Carmela, had spoken, I watched my mother over pretty much my whole teenage life. I watched her do exactly what Carmela is talking about. I was on the other side of that. I watched her go beyond, the chemo treatments. I watched her go beyond, not feeling well and making it happen irregardless. And that was not something that I wanted for my life. And I don't want my kids to be in that same predicament to where they have to witness me go through that. That's my why. I want to be able to be that example to my kids of what self-care looks like, of what taking care of self looks like. Not just, having the formalities of what self-care can look like, but having that totality of that financial freedom, that financial wellness, being stress-free, not having to worry about, if I take time off to spend with them, am I going to lose $1 or a dime? Am I going to put in jeopardy my position in a company that could care less about me anyways? So that's my why. I want to be able to be that example to my kids, but also be there with my kids.
Right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tisha, why is this conversation important to you? Why do you feel this conversation is important, even to those listening?
Yes, I've got a couple of reasons why I think it's important. And I want to speak to the domestic engineers that are on the line. those housewives. That's who I want to speak to on today. I was a housewife, married to a very influential and affluent man, but life happened, right? So that marriage of 17 years ended in divorce. And, things had to be split and the monies began to dwindle. And so I made a decision that never again would I ever be in a position where I let another man or woman be responsible for me feeding my family. So I entered into business entrepreneurship the traditional way, started my own business. However, if we have any business owners on the line, you already know that's a sizable investment that you must make in that business, to maintain it, to launch it, right? So, I had a traditional business where it required me to be present, meaning it required me to really be away from my children. And so I wanted something where I can still be forever present with my children. I said earlier, I've got 5 children and they play sports, but what I didn't tell you was they play sports at the highest level. 3 of my kids are professional athletes. The other 2 are in college playing sports. So when I say I'm busy, I really mean I'm busy. So I was able, through this opportunity, work it in the pockets of me traveling to support my kids. So this business truly is something that you can work alongside of whatever else it is that you're, working, but it's a viable source of income that you can put in place where you can have that long-term sustainable income that can be willed down to your children. And again, I know what it felt like to have it all, to go from a 7-figure lifestyle to a 2-figure lifestyle, right? I know
Okay,
what it's
preach.
like to rob Peter to pay Paul. I know what it's like to rob all 12 of those disciples, right? So I never wanted to feel that again. And that was my never again. And that's why I'm so passionate about this business, because so many people will say, Tish, you've got 3 kids that play professional sports. Why do you do this business?
Mm.
This business is bigger than the product. This business, for many of the leaders, is a ministry. We've got some people that we've got to educate. We've got some people that we have to share with them that there are options out here. They don't have to be stuck. They have options in life. So that's why, for me, it's bigger than the product. Back to you, Rochelle.
Whew, powerful, powerful, powerful. Tiffany, for you, we've heard your journey, but that's not the same as why this business or why this conversation is important, or is it?
This conversation is absolutely important. And for me, I believe it's important because it shows the average person that they can be extraordinary. It gives people hope. It gives people a place to come and they can go and do the things and live out their dreams. For me, like Tish said, I'm a stay-at-home mom with five sons. A niece I took in, got sons I took care of, right? So to have that independence and come over here when we lost everything and be that woman that don't have a degree, that can't walk in nobody's job and get no job, can't afford to do anything. Nobody would give her the opportunity because she don't have a degree, because she can't hold her own, so they say, right?
Mm,
But when you come to planning marketing, it's no degrees needed.
mm,
Everybody on the same level, everybody start at the same place, everybody doing the same thing to get to their ultimate goal. So it gave me a even playing field to say, now I'm going to be able to walk into who Tiffany Powell is and out the shadow of Walter Powell and say,
mm,
these are the things that I'm going to do for my family. My husband would never have to sell another house if he don't want to. The economy would never dictate to him whether or not how he's going to take care of his family, because Tiffany Powell made a decision to decide to get in the trenches with her husband and set everybody free, all because of an opportunity that said, you can, you will, and we can change your life only with the mindset, right? So when I say this opportunity is absolute, I mean this conversation is absolutely important to have. It
Mhm.
absolutely is, because if we say we can change people's lives and show people how to travel and show people how to secure their bag without anything connected to it, but you just making a decision and giving in a belief that you can to achieve what everybody else has achieved, follow the leadership, listen to the conversation, take in the training and the knowledge and put it into action, and then find what your purpose is and operate in your authority and your power, then
Mm.
you will be successful. So that's why this conversation is absolutely needed, because people need to know that there is a place that they can come and live an extraordinary life no matter where they are in life.
I don't even have a mic to drop. I need to go buy. I feel like saying, hold on, y'all, let me go buy a mic just so I can drop that mug. Golly. Okay. Director Scott, why is this conversation important to you?
You know, this conversation is important to me um, because I'm not supposed to be here.
Mm.
I'm not supposed to be, I was born and raised in the inner city of Washington, D.C., right? Two-parent household. Parents made a lot of sacrifices that I didn't even know that they were making. Um, you know, and so to grow up in that inner city community and to look around, I'm talking about a 365-degree turn, and know that yeah, we're fighting in here and we're fighting to get out of here, right? But the reality for me was I didn't know anyone, I didn't have any go-tos to show me how to potentially become wealthy. And every time I mention the word wealth, Miss Rochelle, I actually hesitate before I say the word wealth
Why
because
is that?
I never knew anybody that was wealthy. And so when you grow up in the area and in the era that I grew up in, you don't talk about things that you don't see emulated in front of you.
It's true.
Now, side note, I knew some folks in the hood that was wealthy, but it wasn't legally, right? Truth be told. But my parents never went to college. They just wanted their son to get to another level that they did not get to. And so I really feel like conversations like this are a part of divine appointment.
Yes.
When I say divine appointment, it is only through meeting and touching other people and interacting with other people that I got to where I am right now. And I met a man 18 years ago that saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And that man was Mr. Donald Bradley, who is the owner of Planet Marketing. And he was willing to show me how to go from doing okay, being that law enforcement guy, to now becoming wealthy. And I cringe because I'm no special guy. I'm just like most of the people that are on here. But I took advantage of an opportunity that, as Ms. Powell said, that as Tish DeShields has said, has changed life. And guess what? None of us as leaders are ever going to show ourselves to be selfish. To say, we made it. We got to go back. We got to reach back. And we've got to do a long reach. Because it's not about fame, fortune for us, or notoriety. Some of the people that are on here right now would rather just live a silent life. But we have a responsibility to show other people of what's possible. But see, we want to take people, Miss Rochelle, from it's possible to it's likely.
Mm.
Then we want to take people from it's possible and it's likely that it could happen for you to saying, no, it's inevitable. It's going to happen for you. And so we want to boost people's belief level to do what? Tomorrow, the next day, next week, when they first get started, when they partner with whomever they're connected to by way of this opportunity, they can say, you know what? I don't like my job, but I got some hope.
Mm.
You know what? I don't like my circumstances right now in today, but man, I think the sun is about to come out because of a decision that I made. And so my future, 3 years, 5 years, how long is it going to take? As long as it takes to get me to a place of wealth potentially and financial stability. That's why this conversation is so important, because now is the time and we have the opportunity and we have a proven success system that's showing people how to build wealth. That's why this conversation is so important, because we're touching people everywhere.
Mm. You know, I think that for me, all four of you have said, let me stop for a second because I want everybody on here. There are 187 people on here. I want you to put in the chat, I can be wealthy. Even if you don't believe that you can. We're not asking you to believe that you can. But the first way to change things is to speak it out of your mouth. Life and death are in the power of your tongue. So even if you can't envision it, like Director Scott couldn't at first because he couldn't see it, at least type it in the chat. I can be wealthy. Now, not all of us want to be wealthy. I'm not going to lie to you and say that I don't, because I do and will be. However, some of you just want to be financially stable. You want to be able to go and buy the eggs even when they're $10. You want to be able to go and buy the milk even when it's $12. If your child needs shoes, you want to at least be able to go and buy a pair of Nikes without going, and I don't, nothing against the secondhand store, but how about if we don't have to go? So if that is you, you just want to be stable, put in the chat, I can be financially stable. Put that in the chat if that's you. So as we've talked and seen that for many different reasons, but for all the same reasons, because you can have hope, because we can have hope, because there's actually a way to do this. Proven, not just speculatory, not just well in the by and by. No, you're looking at people, 2 women and a gentleman on here that have done what it is that we all want to do. And there's another gentleman, I saw his picture and I said, ooh, he's in the building. He's in the building. I saw you, sir. I saw you, sir. But I'm gonna leave that alone. But you know who you are, sir. But I digress. For me, this conversation is extremely important because, as some of you may know, my son is a professional athlete. But he signed that contract. I didn't. And so I still have people coming to me, where's the new house? Where's the new car? Where are you flying off to now? Where are you flying off to now? Excuse you, but I did not get drafted. My son did. I should not have to depend on my son to secure my bag. But just like Tiffany said, just like Tisha said, just like Director Scott said, just like Amanda said, I need to be able to secure my bag. What if something occurs with him? It's not in Jesus' name. But hey, the NFL is not for long. Now he's hit it, okay. But what about me? So my question at this point is, what about you? Don't you want to hit your bag? I'm just saying. So I'll start with Tisha because you and I have a lot in common in that direction. And And people can tend to look at our lives and see where we are, but they don't know some of the struggle that we've been through to get past whatever it is. And just because our children are in a certain position, they think, oh, well, they're in that position, you're in that position.
Right.
So Tish, tell us a little bit about your journey. Tell us about a little bit about why you're in Planet. Why are you doing travel with, you have children at the highest level. Why are you doing travel, Tish?
Absolutely. Well, let me just start by, sharing a little bit more about my story. I was once married to a professional athlete, high school sweethearts. So I know how it felt to be the wife of a professional athlete and the burden that he experienced, not only getting out of the neighborhood, but having to go back and, be the bank for the neighborhood. Whenever the neighborhood needed something, he was the bank. And so as we had our children, I made a decision that I never, as a parent, wanted to put that kind of pressure on my child or children when they make it out, when they become professional in whatever it is, doctors, attorneys, athletes, it didn't matter. Whenever my kids became successful, I never wanted to be that parent that leaned on my kids to the point where I was a burden to them. And so again, as they are going off into the professional realm, I am a product of travel anyway. So it made sense for me to own my own agency so that now when I travel to see my kids and support my kids, not only am I able to monetize those trips, but from a business perspective, it makes sense because now as a merchant in the industry, I'm supposed to be at the Dodger Stadium, right? I'm supposed to be at that Final Four. I'm supposed to because it's market research. So that made all the sense to me. I'm supposed to eat them Dodger dogs, right? I'm supposed to be, at the World Series and the Super Bowls because how can I sell those tickets, and how can I share those experiences? So that made sense to me. But then there's that other part too. Speaking from a parental, standpoint, we as parents, we have a tendency to express to our children the importance of being A and B students, right?
Right.
We have the tendency to instill in our children, you are the head and not the tail, right? You're victorious. You're all these things. But how many times are we as parents actually living up to the very things that we're trying to instill in our children? Right? Some of the parents on the line are enforcing, certain things and indoctrinating their kids with certain methodologies, but yet they're not doing those things. But I can tell you one thing, I can show you better than I can tell you. So children of mine, watch me go get this bag. Watch me get my rings and my trophies and load up the showcase room because you're not going to be the only one with them trophies and them rings. Understand? So again, I can show my children better than I can tell them. So when I say this is bigger than just travel, when I say this is a ministry to my family and it's a ministry to everyone watching, because I'm going to let y'all watch me be the evidence and I'm going to show you how it's done. Back to you, Miss Rochelle.
I just got to hit that again. If we wasn't short on time, I would have to have you go right on back to that because that gold you just dropped was deep. Because see, we have a lot of parents on here, and a lot of times we enforce or we tell our kids to do certain things, but our kids don't have that model right before them. We want them to idolize the athlete or idolize the singer or idolize the actor when we're actually, as a therapist, I would tell parents all the time, you are the role model. They're secondary. They would say, well, they're listening to that music. They're listening to that music. No. What are you listening to? Well, I'm grown. Okay. So that work ethic you're talking about, that going after it that you're talking about, that bringing home the trophies that you're talking about, that being able to dream and saying, I'm going to do this, that fighting through the hard times, that doing the do, even with finding a way to find a way. That's what this is about. Finding a way. We found a way. Kudos to you, Tish. Kudos to you. Tiffany, for you, why is this conversation? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Tell us a little bit more about your story. You've told us about why this conversation is important to you, but it's easy for people to look at you now. You're successful.
Mm-hmm.
But what got you to this point? What's your story?
So my story is being a mother of 5, being a wife for 30 years, and a supportive wife of 30 years. Sometimes you get in that role, in that place where you're serving, but you're serving your family. And in serving your family, you're making sure everybody's okay. See, I've been having kids since I was 19. I'm 52 now. And the last one just left. But in the midst of all those years, all I did was serve my family. I nurtured my family. I made sure everything in my household was in order. I made sure everything in my household blossomed. I supported everybody and everything. I helped my husband build a real estate company. It's a real successful real estate company. Me and Tish kids grew up together. We lived in the same subdivision together. So we've been knowing each other for a very long time. But, I helped build. And coming over here allowed me to live out loud and not live out for someone else, including my kids, including my husband, but for me to have a voice, for me to live my dreams and be able to make the financial and have that financial independence that I want for myself. So if I chose to go back to school like I did and get my degree, I can afford to do that. And part of being independent is being free from under someone else's control. Say, I don't need permission to go back to school because of this opportunity. It afford me my own 6 figures where I can make a decision to decide that I'm going back to school and pay cash for my schooling and not ask permission from nobody. So for me, my journey is not only to support my husband to live out his dream and be one of the millionaires in this company, but it's also to live out my dreams and do things that I've never got the opportunity to do because I was a full-time mother and wife. And so that's why I think this conversation is so important, because my journey went from supporting others to now supporting myself, from going from that place of taking care of other people. Now Tiffany's able to take care of herself, going from that place of depending on someone else so much and for everything to now whatever I choose to do, I can do it. I'm free from that. From going from that place of being where you're not in demand to be anymore, to being in that place where now I'm free to be wherever I want to be. Now I'm free to travel wherever I want to travel. Now I'm free to do the things that I want to do. And I think a lot of us get in a place of complacent and living out our lives and never wanting to change our life because we never saw the example, or we never saw someone speak up for the ones that don't have a voice to speak up, and to be able to encourage other wives and other mothers to say, I too have a dream. I too want to accomplish things. I too want to do things. I too want to be independent. I too want to have financial freedom, personal freedom, and time freedom. I too want to have those things. But who's going to stand up and say, this is how you have those things? This is the opportunity that can afford you those things. But it's a mindset and a belief. And whether you want to do it or not, you have to make that decision. And a lot of us don't have people, like Greg Scott said, going back and grabbing them and pulling them up and giving them the hope and giving them the belief that they can do it, and wrapping our arms around them to say, just like this opportunity to change our lives, it can change yours too.
You know, I need you to circle back to something for us real quick.
Okay.
I need you to take about 30 seconds because I have a feeling there are some people on here, Tiffany, who
Mm.
have lost everything.
Okay.
At
Mhm.
one point in time, they've lost everything. They did all they were supposed to do, but they
Right.
lost everything. Take us to that point to where you lose everything, but that struggle to get back up. How do you do that, Tiffany?
Mm. Ooh, that's a place of a conqueror. You never
Mm,
defeated. Defeat is a mindset. I'm never defeated. I tell people, and Tish probably heard me say this all the time. I'm like, me and my family, we like a basketball. We bounce back up,
mm, mm.
right? It's a bounce. We might go down, but we're gonna bounce back. It's
Yes.
never at a point in our lives where we never said we were defeated and we weren't gonna get back to where we were. Because it was a mindset, it was a belief, but it was who we know we are. I'm not your average person. I don't think average. I don't believe average. I'm
Mm,
extraordinary. I believe extraordinary things, but I got a God that's not gonna let me down either.
mm.
I got a belief spiritually that says this is not the abundance of your life for you, and this is not your final chapter. But it's up to you whether you're gonna step out. Are you gonna fold? Are you gonna crumble? Or are you gonna get up and move on? So I say that because
Mm.
a lot of people let life knock them down. And they
Yeah.
always talk about life is life, and life ain't lifing with me and Walter. Life ain't lifing with us. We life in life. And that's
Hey,
our belief. We life in life. Life ain't like if you want to go toe to toe, we going toe to toe. Life not life in, but it's like you said earlier, Miss Rochelle, it's what you speak, it's what you believe, it's how you walk, it's how you talk, it's
mm,
your posture, it's your
mm,
attitude, it's your confidence. So when we got knocked down and we lost everything in that real estate crash, yes, we had to encourage each other back up. We was down. I mean, it took a lot, but we went out. We
mm.
we just had to regroup. We had to get back into our stance, and we had to know that there is something bigger for us. It might not have been this, and we might have did some things wrong, but now we learn from these mistakes. It wasn't an L, it was a lesson. We don't
There it
take
is.
we don't take L's, but that's a
I said,
mindset. So we had to just get back to the mundane. And it was this opportunity that actually saved us and restored everything. And we're still getting residual income, like somebody said earlier today, from 2015. So now it's from 2015 and we're in 2024 and we're still getting paid from what we did from 2015 up to this point.
mm. Look, I need everybody right now either put in the chat, I am not defeated, or put in the chat, I bounce back. Or you can put them both in. If I could, I'd put them both in right now, but I'm talking to you, so I'm gonna leave it alone. But I am not defeated, or I bounce back. It's time to rebound, y'all. So, Amanda, I want you to talk to us about when you realized that you needed to do something different, that you needed to secure your bag in a different way. I mean, you have a business, you have companies, you've done things, you have a family, but at some point, something triggered that made you say, I need to do something different. When did you figure that out?
So I figured that out when I lost my parents very early. And I had to tend to their estate. And there was no estate. I'm just gonna let
Stop.
that.
Stop. I usually don't interrupt. I said I was not going to, but I need you to say that last part again. You said you realized that when?
When I had to tend to my parents' estate and there was no estate.
That's deep. That's deep. Because a lot of people depend on that estate. So what did you do when there was no estate?
So I definitely went into, my husband and I, we had several conversations of, what would be our reality for our children.
Mm.
And so we had to, have that honest and hard, that hot conversation. And we had to decide, okay, are we going to continue to do what they've done and be where they left us, or are we going to do something different? And for many, that's a hard pill to swallow because we look up to our parents. We want to look up to our parents.
Mhm.
And like all of us on this panel, we want to be the parents that our children look up to.
Mm.
But we've all made that decision to go after what is going to build legacy now.
Name of your company, my God.
And that is, that's when I realized it cannot be later. It has to be now.
Build legacy now. Mr. Scott, you told us about you having the good job. You told us about you having the career, about you serving the public, about you being a protector. And I think, a lot of us on here already can feel that with you going back and getting others. But I know, and only in pieces of our conversations have we talked about what this opportunity is. So, sir, I would like for you to talk to us about, one, what makes this opportunity something that we've all decided, at least the five of us, and I'm sure there are hundreds of others on here who have decided this is the road, this is the court, rather for me, this is the field I'm going to play on. This is the team I'm going to play on. I'm lacing them up. I got my cleats on. I got my uniform on. I'm on offense. I'm going to go get my players, and I'm going to play this game. And if I lose today, if I take a lesson today, then tomorrow I'm going to get back on it, and I'm going to play this game again. So, Director Scott, can you tell us about what made you decide to come on this team? What's different? Because you've done some things. So what's different here? And why are you sticking here?
Well, Ms. Rochelle, for me, it wasn't a hard decision for me to come over here to Planet Marketing. The good fortune that I had was not 9 years ago when this company first launched. It was a total of 18 years ago when I was looking for something. And let's be clear, the product is what got me here. The product and travel. I told y'all, I was an inner city kid from Washington, D.C., two-parent household. The only vacations we went on was to a farm in North Carolina. My parents said we were on vacation. How many of y'all know your parents lie to you sometime, right? That was work, being on that farm. But you take an inner city kid and you put them in that environment with their cousins from up and down the East Coast, and we had a ball every single summer on those farms, on those dead-end dirt roads, right? But I knew that there was more to life than what was staring at me outside of my front door. And so I went in search of it. And so I said it was an easy decision for me because I saw leadership in front of me every single day. I saw myself being surrounded by other people who just wanted to live. They were tired of breathing what they were breathing. They wanted to breathe some fresh air that meant some release and some relief for them in their lives, in their households. And so when you can unify, when you can come together with other like-minded people who are trying to go in the same direction, and we're pushing and we're pulling and we're pushing and we're pulling and we're encouraging each other. We're encouraging each other, and we don't even have any financial ties across the board. I don't get paid from Tish DeShields. I don't get paid from Tiffany Powell. But guess what? They showed up for my squad tonight because we genuinely care about the welfare of others. And so what are we talking about? We're talking about a business in the travel industry. We're talking about travel being the largest industry in the world. We're talking about travel being a $9 trillion a year industry, and we're inside of the decade where it's going to go from 9 trillion to 15 trillion.
Mm.
We're talking about a company that we all represent that last year alone booked over $1 billion in travel. Please don't look at this opportunity as a mom and pop's operation, because you're looking at it wrong. You have no idea the magnitude of IntelliTravel. We're talking about facts and statistics now. We're talking about the real. We're not saying you're going to be rich, you're going to be wealthy, we about to kill it. No, we about to go to work responsibly. We're going to show you the game plan. We're going to show you the blueprint. Is everybody going to do it? No, they're not. But to the ones that do, to the ones that dare to put their hands on the plow and don't look back, their destiny is in front of them, not behind them. Because of this robust opportunity, because of where we are, because of where we're going, because of all of the potential that is trapped inside of this opportunity, when it comes to building residual income, long-term sustainable income, we have it here. We have it here, and we have it for the long term. Guess what? This is not a fly-by-night. Nope. Because Miss Rochelle is not interested in a fly-by-night. Tiffany Powell is not interested in a fly-by-night. Tista Shields, are you kidding me? No, we are digging our heels in the ground because we have the right leadership, we have the right product, we have the right compensation plan, and we are going somewhere because we're building a legacy company. A legacy company are companies that have been around for decades. I'll give you an example. I'll say 2 words, Mary Kay. I'll say 2 more words, Pink Cadillac. That's a legacy company, right? That's what we're building here. So if Mary Kay Ash could build a company from lines of cosmetics, do you honestly think that we can't build a company in the travel industry? Ourselves? I'm talking about build a company for your house and for the Powell house, right? And for the Rochelle house and for the Kid house. And for anybody that's on here that dares to follow their dreams, we have it here. And we're very unapologetic. We have so much evidence of success. 9 years in, we have 4 people that are documented millionaires. They're making over $100,000. Several of them are making over $100,000 a month. The documentation is unfair. We have an unfair advantage over any company that's out there, not bashing any companies, because we don't do that. But we know what we have here. And the competition over here, we're bold, we're brash, we're not conceited, but we are so confident. You come over here with the right attitude, you come over here with the right mindset, you come over here ready to roll your sleeves up and go to work, your wealthy place is waiting for you down the road, inside of the #1 industry in the world. Where can you lose? You can't. The only time that you're going to lose is if you quit. And quitters, that's what they do. But we have champions on here tonight. And I'm not talking about the people that are on this panel, because here on the East Coast, it is 11 o'clock. And it's still 180 people on here between the East Coast and the West Coast. Everybody on here is a champion. We're here to unlock the champion inside of each and every one of you. Miss Rochelle?
I need everybody right now to put in the chat, I'm a champion. There are 179 people on this live right now at straight up 8 o'clock. I need to see 179 I am a champions come up over this feed. It needs to go faster than that. I mean, put it in. If you don't speak it, who else is going to speak it to you? Do not let, my grandmother used to say, ain't no rock gonna cry in my place. Don't let a rock cry in your place that you a champion. You say it. You put it in the feed. Because you're in a place tonight. You've taken the time out. You've decided, I am a champion. So it is straight up 8 o'clock right now. We only have 15 minutes left. We're going to respect everybody's time, because time you can never get back, but time well spent is invaluable. So I'm going to go around quickly to my panel, and I'm going to ask you to tell us in 1 minute, as we bring this conversation to a close, what would you like us to know? What would you like everybody to go away from tonight? Having gone in their ear gates, not out the other ear, but to pause right here on that frontal lobe, just to pause right here. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to know? Tisha, I'll start with you.
All right. What I would like to leave is, especially for the guests that are on the line, and if hopefully they've had an opportunity to see a little bit about our business model, I would like to leave and impart in that person. If not this, then what? If not now, then when are you going to do that thing so that your future generations don't have to get it out the mud, right? So many people brag on the fact that I got it out the mud. I got it out the mud. That ain't nothing to brag about. And unfortunately, for many of us on the line, we don't have an inheritance, right, to build upon. Unfortunately, we have to start from ground zero, getting it out the mud. So I ask you on tonight, if not this opportunity, then what? If not now, then when are you going to do the thing so that your family don't have to get it out the mud? Back to you, Miss Rochelle.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amanda, as we come to a close this evening, you know, I like to call you the encyclopedia because it's just so much in you in different volumes. But I want you to pull one thing out tonight, Amanda, that the people need to go away with, to leave on them, for them to think about. What would that be, Amanda?
It's really important that we really take inventory of where you came from, where you are, and where you're going. And if you cannot identify clearly where you are and where you're going, then where you came from doesn't even matter. Because where you came from, you owe it to that self to be better. You owe it to that self to now, like Tisha said, when you know better, you do better. So if you don't know if you don't know where you are now, you don't know what things to change. You don't know how to become better. What are you going to do? And then look at those who have to look back at you. Look in the eyes. When you look in the eyes of those that you have to take care of every single day, you have to prepare the way for them every single day.
Yeah. Okay.
And I know I leave some pauses, but sometimes we just got to rest in that. And we just have to understand, okay, what is that saying to me? How is that making me feel? What is that bringing up in me? And if it doesn't bring out that champion, that go get it, that make it happen, then you got to dig a little deeper. You got to go a little deeper. So I just encourage everyone to just make sure you take in all the notes that you can tonight and apply it.
Whew. All right. Tiffany, as we close tonight, we have about 3 minutes left. What do you want to leave with everybody? You've told us so much tonight. You've shared your story, you've shared your journey, shared the struggle, you've shared your successes. But what would you like to leave with everybody on tonight that they need to take with them?
I believe that everybody have to understand and trust their next chapter. This is your next chapter in your life. This is your next chapter to build your dreams. This is your second chance, third chance, fourth chance, whatever you want to call it. Because I know, and my husband and I talk about this a lot of times, that nobody ever really lived out one dream, let alone live a dream. And
Mm,
this is the opportunity for you to say that I am the author of this chapter. And I'm going to dictate what happens in this book. And this is not where I'm at, my final chapter. And what you heard tonight and what was presented to you tonight was an opportunity for you to change the page and rewrite your journey and go through your process and understand that you do have people that are here with you, fighting for you, and you can do it. It's just a belief, it's a confidence, it's a mindset. And I'm really big on confidence, belief, and mindset and posture. I really believe. So take a stance for yourself and know that whatever is worth fighting for is worth having. And live your dreams out loud and don't let anybody or nothing, circumstances or situations stop you from ultimately getting to your dreams.
mm, mm, mm. Okay, everybody, we have 7 minutes left. This is what we're going to do. Director Scott, I was going to have you close this out, but if you want to take the stage
No.
right now. Okay. All right.
I'll wait. I'll wait.
So, you cannot have thought that I was really going to really close this down without you speaking. You couldn't have thought that, sir. No way. So this is what I want to do. I want to take the next 5 minutes to answer questions. If you have a question, put it in the feed. We're going to get to as many of them as possible. So if you have one, put it in the feed right now. And if you don't, if there are no questions, I'm definitely going to go ahead and have Director Scott close us out if there are no questions. If there are, go ahead and put it in the feed. So I don't see any coming up right now. So Director Scott, what I want to do is I want to pass this to you, and I want to say before we leave, I want to tell everybody thank you. See, because one thing I want you all to understand is I think I may have met Tish one time in the very, very, very beginning of my journey, but I don't know her, and she's on here tonight. Amanda, I talk to her every day, but she's my branding and marketing client. Tiffany, I've never met her. Director Scott is my business coach. So what does that tell you about this particular tribe, this particular company, this particular set and group of people? See, there's one thing where you can be in a relationship, but there's no relay going on. And you're not in that ship together. But here in Planet Marketing, you're in relationship. We go back and forth, we support each other, we're there, and we're in it together. So Director Scott, we have 5 minutes, sir. Can you close us out? Give us some parting words. Give us some things that we need to really need to stick with us, and then give us some instructions, sir.
Well, first and foremost, before I say anything, I am thankful and grateful for your vision, Ms. Rochelle, in bringing a panel like this together. This was all you. I had nothing to do with it. I just added to it. And you have shown yourself to be that career professional, that consummate professional. And so I just appreciate all the labor, dotting our I's, crossing our T's, making sure that everything is done in decency, in order, and professional. Um, to this panel, you know, you all are it for tonight. You all are it. You all have impacted some lives. There's right now 169 people still on this Zoom. And it's because I'm sure they are on the edge of their seat saying, what else are they going to say? What else are they going to say? Well, guess what? We have said it. You all have delivered. You all have hit it out the park. And so all of us together, we work together as a team for this conversation. And so I thank each one of you for heeding my invitation, for making yourself available, and whatever sacrifices you made unselfishly to bring this to fruition. And so what I'll say in closing, a couple of points I want to make. I had to grow to a point where I realized I had less days ahead of me than I had behind me. And I had to look at that spectrum of my life. And I had to ask myself, what have you done for real? Yeah, you lived every day. You went to school, you went to college, you did this, you did that. You were the po-po, you were that guy, but what have you really done that's going to impact your family? You impacted families in the community. You're a senior associate minister. You impacted families at church, but what have you done to bring about an impact? And not just for your family, but for others from an economic standpoint. And so I arrived, Miss Rochelle, at a point where I said to myself, my day is coming, and I don't know when it is. And because of this opportunity, and I've seen the lives change, I've heard the stories of the Tiffany Powells, the Walter Powells, the Tish DeShields, and so many other people inside of this company. I've heard their stories. I've heard their trials. I've seen their tears. And I've witnessed their bereavement. And I said to myself, now is the time for you to make up your mind that whatever it takes, you're going to die on E. You're going to die on empty. Not for your own good, but for the good of helping other people. So it's never going to be said that I didn't give it my all, because I'm doing it. Regardless of what it looks like, my heart is here. I'm sold out for Planet Marketing. And when Planet Marketing gets inside of you, oh, it's another game. The wealthiest place in the world. The wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard. Because that's where people's hopes died. Their dreams died. Their aspirations died. Their gifts died. The promises that they made to themselves that they didn't carry out, they died. And so everybody that's on here now is living. Don't allow what you have as your hopes and dreams to die before they're made manifest. This opportunity can satisfy a lot of things. and it can impact a lot of people. I just want to encourage everybody that's on here, for one time, just one time in your life, I challenge you, I dare you, I dare everybody on here, one time in your life, bet on you.
Mm.
Just one time, just one time, just one time, bet on you. I dare you. I dare each and every one of you. Those of you that are business partners on here, those of you that are guests on here, I dare you to bet on yourself. Get behind an opportunity of a lifetime here with Planet Marketing, and I promise you, that future person that you were talking about, Amanda, that other person, Miss Rochelle, that other person is way down the road. That's your future self. But I'm talking to your current self right now. Your future self is looking at you saying, I wonder what they're going to do. They hear this information, they hear these people, and they're not going to do nothing. Your future self is saying, please do something for us. Let's get it. Let's go. Welcome to Planet Marketing, the best place on the planet. Ms. Rochelle, thank you.
Whew. I am rarely speechless, but there's really nothing else to be said except for welcome to Planet Marketing. Bet on you. And I promise you, for all of my guests, I see so many of you. I'm honored that you're here. And I can tell you this, I've been in Planet Marketing, I believe since May, since before I went to South Africa. I believe it may have been April or May. And I want to see some things. Because when I'm building, let me tell you something. To be able to have a team, take some people and say, let's go, let's run, let's do this. I don't take that lightly. And I got to know that I'm in a safe place, that I'm putting you somewhere that we're lacing up our cleats and we're on a team that we can run with. And I'm not just talking about winning every other game. I'm talking about winning the whole shebang. I'm talking about going to the bowl. And so I waited and I saw everything I needed to see to know that this is the team I'm lacing up with. So look, whoever invited you on here, if it was me, make sure you get with me. And let's move. Like, let's move. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get with it. Whoever invited you on, get with them. I understand it's 11:19 on the East Coast. I understand it's 8:19. But get with them. Text them, message them. Everybody got their phone somewhere. Get your phone out and message them and say, let's talk. Because if not now, when? If not this, what? And personally, I think it's time to arise. I'm Carmela Rochelle. Welcome to the Secure Your Bag conversation. It was an honor having you all here. Have a blessed, wonderful, beautiful, and prosperous night. And we will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you. Say good night as you're going out, everyone.
Thank you.
Good
Good night.
Good night.